All right, welcome back, everyone. So Mafia 3. Obviously, it's going to be Addy 3. Super excited to see what they show there. It's coming out this fall, so it's going to come out right in the middle of all of madness, which is November, late October. And, you know, this game is really interesting because we have a unique protagonist. We have an interesting time period. We have an interesting location, and it just, all of that stuff put together, along with, you know, the Mafia 3 gameplay stuff that we've seen so far. It's going to be a really interesting open world game with, you know, environmental storytelling that very much focuses on racial tensions during the time, Vietnam stuff, some PTSD stuff with the protagonist. All of those things put together, I'm excited to see how this game ends up coming out. Hopefully the gameplay and all of that stuff just makes it a really meaty open world package. And I want to be able to just ground myself in that world and have it set in this, you know, back in the day New Orleans, or, you know, inspired by, whatever you want to call it, because it's not actually New Orleans, it has its own name, but very much inspired by. You could definitely see it from the very beginning. So let's just go ahead. Enough of me talking. And Mafia 3, bringing a city to life. This is very much about the city itself. So
Peggy 18.
New Bordeaux is our New Orleans, where we took all of the best parts and we put it into one place. We have the bayou in the south. It's this big swamp area. There's alligators swimming around. You can go to the wharf district, or you can go to the docking district. That's where all the shipment happens. That's where the actual trade happens. It's really cool because it doesn't matter where you are in the city. It looks unique and has its own character.
The city's made up of 9 unique districts. Each district has 2 criminal rackets and all the sort of criminal ecology that revolves around that racket. The districts are really unique as well, from the Hollow, where Lincoln is sort of born and raised, and sort of very poor area of the city, to the very iconic sort of French Ward area, which is your classic Bourbon Street, Canal Street area of New Bordeaux. It's jazz bars, it's neon lights, and it's bustling sort of nightlife. As well as that, we have the posh sort of suburban area of Frisco Fields. The city really is a unique character in our game, and the city is king for us. It really is important.
The way in which we can unlock the city just story-wise, it's always going to be fully available. If you want to drive around, you want to find things, you want to explore, it's going to be there. But the specific story beats that are going to take place in the city are actually very much tied to your quest of taking down Marcano. So as you're making your progress, you're going to visit new parts of the city because they're going to unlock various characters, and they're actually going to illuminate the way that the mob operates in those districts.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have that aspect of, you know, the story has to have you have to unlock it. It has to be a story that progresses. It can't just be like, oh, you go to this certain place in the map and suddenly you're at the final boss. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You have to have a progression in the story. You have to have some kind of linear type of storytelling in order to kind of see a progression with, obviously, the main protagonist and Lincoln and what he's trying to do and take over the Mafia or whatever. It's just, I like the aspect of this game because it feels like it's going to have very interesting characters, and the world itself is going to be its own character as well. They were talking about how they have so many different kind of, I guess they call it criminal ecology, where there are different aspects of the environment itself, and there are going to be criminal elements inside those environments, and it's all going to make sense. And that's the aspect of it that I'm interested in, because there's going to have to be a reason why you're going to want to go into the swamps. You're going to want to go into the shipping district and the city district, and hopefully they balance all of these missions out in all these different areas in order to create kind of like an interesting storytelling gameplay kind of mix, right? Because the problem with open world games sometimes is that they struggle with pacing, because you could end up doing absolutely anything you want inside of that world, right? You can go over here and, you know, do this little mini quest or this little thing over here, and then just kind of, it loses the tension that the main story has. And, you know, a lot of linear storytellers or people that have worked on, you know, Uncharted and other linear games have talked about how open world games, like, oh, let's say, kind of like, for example, Fallout 4 and the whole, you know, losing your son or daughter kind of moment. And and then it loses its tension because you're doing all these little side questy things over here and side questy. It's just it doesn't come together all the time as far as the storytelling goes. You need to be able to really feel the tension and throughout, until you get to that point where there comes some kind of resolution or whatever. But that's what Mafia 3 hopefully is going to do. They're going to be able to balance all that stuff out. But yet again, it is still an open world game. So I'm going to be able to drive over here, drive over there whenever I want. But I try to play open world games in kind of like, okay, funnel me through this story. And because it just helps me kind of engross myself that much more in what's going on. And then, I'll come back and I'll do all the little things that I need to do. And as long as it has a really fun gameplay loop, then I'll jump back in. But as far as the story and what drives me and the missions and the gameplay, that's what I want to play the most. And when you have an interesting environment like this, when you have Lincoln, when you have obviously these cast of characters over here to the left, I don't even know if you can still see it, but on the screen I can. And it just looks great. It looks like a great world. It looks like the environments look beautiful. And I really can't wait to just kind of put myself on October 7th in that world and just like, all right, this is really cool. We have interesting protagonists. We have some interesting characters. We have an interesting time period. We have an interesting city. We have an interesting kind of crime story here. And, and that's what Mafia is all about, bringing in all of those aspects, and hopefully it just all comes together. So let me know what you guys think about Mafia 3. I'm very tired, but, that's what it is. So hopefully I was able to articulate myself about this game enough and eloquently enough. And, yeah, let me know what you guys think about what you want from this game at E3, okay? Because it's one of those games that is going to, I don't know, I want to look back at the sales figures and see how well this game did, how well Mafia 2 did in the original Mafia game. So I want to see what the fan base is like, and I want to see if they're going to be able to do really well, because it's going to be coming out in a time where you're going to be getting Call of Duty games, you're going to be getting the new Battlefield, you're going to be getting some other games as well. So it's going to have some deep competition. And when you have an open world game that takes a whole lot of time investment, as compared to other games that come out at that time, you're going to have to make a purchasing decision as a consumer of whether you want to spend 30 to 40 to 50 hours in a Mafia game, or spend 10 hours or 6 hours on a Call of Duty campaign and then fool around with multiplayer. It doesn't matter. I mean, it will just be what your tastes are. If this is more your type of game, then you will go for it. But it's gonna have some competition, even if it's a week away or whatever. It's hopefully they can sell really well. They can do well, because I want to see this kind of game get rewarded for making some interesting choices with their storytelling. So hopefully, again, like I keep on saying, all that stuff comes together and it rewards us as players. It rewards us as far as us having a good time. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Of course, if you hate me, you know what to do. If you like me, you know what to do. And I'm tired, I'll go to bed. But I'll see you guys all in the next one.